Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Victoria. Hey, how you doing? What's good? What's good? What's good? If you're new here, what's up? If you're not, what's up? I do several lovely things on my channel. Sometimes I do Get Reddit with Me's where I put my makeup on while I tell a Reddit story. Sometimes I just read a Reddit story while I just chill. Sometimes I do a reaction, sometimes I talk about my weight loss, but overall I do whatever the hell I want, and that's exactly what we're doing today. I'm doing whatever the hell I want, and today I want to do a Get Reddit with Me where I do my makeup while I read a Reddit story. By the way, you should be subscribing to my channel right about now. There's a button down there, there's a button up there, there's a little bell next to it. Make sure you turn your notifications on so you know when you see my face. You should be expecting to see my face on Tuesdays and Fridays of every week. I don't think I've missed a week. Yeah, so join the family, join the club. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, all that stuff is in my little thing majiggy below. You know how this goes. And if you don't know how it goes, go check out some of my other videos so you can get, we can get acquainted. So you can get to know me and I can get to know you. We can be friends. Yeah, so let's get started. So today, I did my eyebrows off camera because I have to. I can't do them on camera, so I have to do them off camera. Today, we'll be playing with the Saharan at Juvia's place. Lovely, lovely palette. Brand new at that. I don't even think my sister's ever touched it. So, sorry. Today we have, this says, her whole thing just says, am I the a-hole for cheating? Which, this won't be a hard one. But I'm going to tell you the story anyway. Basically, she starts off by saying that she is not married to this man that she cheated on. He is her long-term boyfriend, and they're not married. They do not have kids together because he cannot have kids, but she has children. And in the beginning, the relationship was great. It was absolutely perfect in her words. The sex was great. He takes great care of her kids. He's just like virtually was like the perfect guy. And in the beginning, everything was like peachy keen. And she genuinely, like in her thing, she says like he was like the best thing to have ever happened to her. She didn't even think a man like this existed, which I mean, sis, where did you find him? Because I'm tired. About a year and a half into their relationship, the sex stopped for her. So everything else that was going on was perfect, but the sex, it just kind of just all of a sudden stopped coming without really any warning. The intimacy stopped. He no longer wanted, to be intimate with her, but he's great in every other way. So he still looked out for her kids. He was still there for them. He was still like virtually the perfect person, the perfect guy. He just stopped having sex with her. And at first she was like, okay, I can deal with this, I think. She spoke to him about it and was like, hey, bud, so when you bringing that dingling back? Because I kind of need it. But he just seemed as though he was very adamant about he's done. He didn't want to have sex with her for whatever reason. So she ends up going 2.5 years without sex while in this relationship. And she tried really, really hard to just play her part as mom and do what she thought was best for her children, which meant that she would have to just kind of cope with the idea of, okay, I'm just not gonna have sex. He's good for them. He's a great guy. He does what he can for them. She's trying. If we stop right there for a second, I will say it's very motherly. It's a good thing, I guess, to make decisions that benefit your children and not you. If he really cares about you that much, or he cares about your kids that much, I understand why she's like, okay, rather than me breaking up with him or whatever, I'm just going to stick around because he's good for my kids. And other than the fact that we're not getting it on, he's a great dude. She decides to give up this part of her life so excuse you? She decides to give up this part of her life so that her kids can have a happy and healthy environment. Which, good job, I guess. So that she's not misunderstood here, she does clarify that she did tell him, like, hey, I would like to have sex or be intimate in some form. And I guess he just wasn't going for it. He wasn't really going for it, right? So essentially she's like, hey, we need to have sex. Like, I need to have sex. And he laughed it off, or he would avoid coming to bed with her, which, damn, dude, it's like that. You couldn't just tell her. Which she came to the conclusion that he's like asexual or something. Like he didn't want to have, which I don't really know anything. I don't know nothing about that. These are her words, not mine. Essentially, it's like he's asexual, her exact words. And she says he would just avoid sexual talk. He would purposefully try and come to bed late like until like she fell asleep so he didn't have to have sex with her, which once again, sir, if it's that deep, y'all might need to just break up, but okay. Long story short, she ends up sleeping with somebody else. And her exact words were, I just wanted to feel like a woman. After 3.5 years, this man doesn't even know my eye color, which, I mean, there's only so many to choose from, but like, once again, I get you. So she's upset. She sleeps with somebody else. She does not, she has like this one night stand thing. It's a whole thing. I mean, bad for her, but also good for her, I guess. Question mark. She says that she doesn't want to give up on her boyfriend, but she also doesn't want to stop sleeping with other people. And then is like, am I the a-hole, so on and so forth. And then her little addition to it at the end was, she was drunk when she wrote this. She knows she's an a-hole. And I don't even know why. Then, girl, why did you bring it to the internet? Wait a minute. Oh, and she also says that he knew that she slept with somebody else. And he said, just keep it to yourself next time. Well, damn. Well, basically all the comments, which we already know, it's Reddit. Everybody's mean on Reddit anyway. I'm not here to be mean. I'm just here to state facts. But everybody's kind of like, yeah, you're an a-hole, so on and so forth. People went on her. You know how Reddit works. As she stated, she knows she's an a-hole, right? So there's really no reason for me to get up on here and say you're an a-hole. But I'm going to do it anyway. Sis, if it was that serious, I mean, like, I guess it ended up being fine because he doesn't care. I mean, I can't sit here and pretend like I'm not a little worried about why he don't care, but I mean, to each their own. Everybody has their things, something different we all bring. Don't let it clip your way. Sorry. Sorry. If it was that bad that you had to consider sleeping with somebody else, number one, you probably should have told him. Let's start there. I know it's not like, oh, how do you tell somebody like I'm gonna go sleep with somebody else? There's no easy way to do that. But if it was bad enough that you were like, I'm considering doing it in the first place, if you even think about cheating on somebody, the problem's bigger than just the willingness to cheat. Okay, problem is there's a root problem here. You already knew what the problem was, but you still cheated without like telling him, all right, I'm really about to go sleep with somebody because you keep playing games, which wouldn't be easy for anybody. But most people, outside of talking out their problems, the option here, at least for me, from my perspective, I wouldn't have cheated. A lot of people wouldn't, but I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't have immediately went for cheating because, like, yeah, it took 3 years. Let's start there. It's not like you immediately cheated. Maybe tell him or make it like a thing. So, like, if you came to the internet because you were like, oh, am I the a-hole, so on and so forth, I don't feel guilty, but I feel guilty. Well, girl, if you felt bad enough to write about it, you must have felt guilty. Which means you know you did something wrong. And the situation has you probably discussed it with him because he seems like he doesn't give a fuck anyway, then you probably would have felt better about yourself. You probably would have felt better about the situation, point blank, period. I see it a lot or hear about it a lot of people, men and women, that will stay in relationships that they're not completely happy with for their children. But there's a lot going on there. And I don't have kids, so I can't speak out too much. But I just feel like, I don't know, and I'm saying this because, once again, I don't have kids. I understand the notion of you doing anything to make sure your kids are stable, anything to make sure your kids are happy, and I completely respect that. The issue for me here lies in the fact that you were so unhappy that you did something that made you feel like you were, which you claim you don't feel guilty, but you wrote about it, which tells me you probably felt guilty, that you felt bad enough to write about it. Like, you put yourself in a position for somebody else, not your kid. You put yourself really in that position for him in regard to like the sexual portion of your relationship, or the lack thereof, I guess, technically. In any relationship, there's really only so much that you can do for the other person. So I guess like when it started becoming an issue for you, I don't know, I understand you did it for your kids, but girl, you waited 3 years? 3 years? Number one, I just want to say sex toys exist. I understand it's not the same. But I hope you did not wait 3 years to bust a nut. That's all I'm saying. But you wanting the best of both worlds is really what's getting me. You want, which, I mean, it ended up working out just fine because you don't even know what to do with the information of him not caring that you slept with somebody else. Because I really feel like he's probably there more so for the kids than you, which, I mean, that's cool, I guess. is the fact that you wanted the best of both worlds. I mean, I guess you were honest about it because you made it very clear you did not feel bad. Feel bad, but you wrote about it. You don't feel bad, but you wrote about it. Anyway, you want the best of both worlds, but what if he said no? Like, I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because, like, you realize that's ridiculous? Like, oh, I want my husband and my boyfriend, even though, you know, he's not your husband. You understand what I mean? But, like, I want my husband and my boyfriend. I want the best of both worlds. I am Hannah Montana. Girl, that's not how it works. You can't just decide that you want both men and then expect to receive both men. Of course, in your case, it worked out fine, I guess. You can sleep with who you want because he does not give a fuck. Sis has the relationship, or not necessarily the relationship, but I guess like the boyfriend women pray for outside of the lack of sex. He quite literally is like, I will take care of the kids. In fact, I will do everything a husband does. You can sleep with who you want. You don't even gotta sleep with me. That's crazy. I mean, if I don't really know what he's on, I really don't, because hell nah. If that was me, sir, no. No, sir. So my camera died midway through me filming. I understand, like, sometimes we make sacrifices for our kids. I don't have kids, so I'm not saying we as in we, I'm saying we as in people in general have to make sacrifices for our kids, and that should be respected, but only to a certain extent. Not like as far as respect goes, but like as far as sacrifices go, because you were so unhappy for 3 years. Situations like this make me understand why women are so why not even women, why people are so cautious about who they bring around their kids and relationships and stuff, because you really got to be careful. Like, you really got to think, like, is this somebody I feel comfortable, not even like comfortable, like, is this somebody that I can be happy with in the long run? And granted, you were together for like a whole year before stuff went south, so I understand, but this is why people are like, oh, I don't know, this is something I want, like, for my kids to be around, just because, like, it's just so, relationships are tricky. In the end, it ended up being fine, but, like, what if it didn't? Another problem that I'm seeing here is that, like, if this didn't end up working, like, if he didn't say, like, look, it's fine, like, I knew already, and he was just cool with it, which, I mean, once again, kudos to him, because he's better than me. But if he, for some reason or another, decided that it wasn't okay, and he wanted to break up with you, or he no longer wanted to be with you, which, I mean, at that point, fair, then what? Like, then what for real? Because then your kids would have been in an even tougher spot than if you had just broken up with him when it stopped being a relationship that was beneficial to you as well. I noticed that a lot of the comments were like, you should have just talked to him, or why were you with him if like why did you stay so long, da 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 da. Here's the thing. I see why she stayed. I see why she stayed, because she stayed for her kids. If it boiled down to being that serious, as a lot of people were saying, not just me, if it boils down to being that serious that you're like, let me just cheat, might not be the relationship for you. You might need to talk to your kids, reevaluate some things, because if you're putting your mental health on the line, a lot of times people think staying in unhealthy relationships for the sake of their children, like it's something that works, which, I mean, once again, I don't have kids, so I don't know shit about this, but like from what I've seen, it doesn't usually work this way. Number one, outside of you, if you just remove yourself from the situation, your kids can tell that you're not happy. Let's say, like, oh, you're happy together as friends, but kids can tell, hey, yo, something wrong with mom, she a little on edge all the time, or something wrong with dad because he's always ripping his hands away from mom. Like, kids can see that stuff. I don't really have to sit here and answer the question of whether or not you're an a-hole, because you already did it yourself. You were able to make a conscious enough decision to say, yeah, no, I know this is wrong, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And then you post it on the internet. So, no, I don't have to make the determination of, are you an a-hole, because you already knew that. You answered it yourself. But I will say, the only part about this that I'm like, oh, okay, I get you, is the part where you're like, I stay with him for my kids. Should you be using somebody? No. But you're not really using him if he just decides to stay anyway. So I don't really know how to answer this question. Are you an a-hole for cheating? Absolutely. I don't like that color. However, I, much like the rest of the world, um, I love feeling loved. I love feeling desired. I love feeling sexy. I love feeling beautiful. So I understand why you're like, I had to look somewhere else for it. I understand that. Do I understand the notion of receiving it, going out and like getting it? No. If it got that serious, you no longer needed to be together. If it was bad enough that you were like, I'm just go get it, not I'm attention seeking or I'm doing something else, which that's still wrong, but wrong for a different reason, wrong on different levels. But you just went out and said and bypassed everything else. You just went straight for I'm just gonna sleep with somebody. If it was that serious, then you may have just needed to have ended the relationship. It ended up being okay, and it ended up being okay in the end for you specifically, but it might not be the same for anyone else, really. That was a 1 in a million chance that you had there, where he was like, fuck it, I don't care. And for that reason, shit, if he doesn't care, neither do I. It was wrong. You knew it was wrong. Y'all can make determinations of your own. This is what the look looks like. I was confused about where it was going, but now I feel very pretty. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. Subscribe to my channel. I make videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. What are your thoughts? What would you do? I know what I would have done, and I would have probably broken up with it. It would have been hard for everybody involved because your kids are involved, and so I understand why like things would have been difficult for you. I can respect that. But then there's other issues going on here that I just can't get behind. So those are my thoughts. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you share this video with your friends. I hope you like my makeup. I'm confused by it, but I think I look good. Yeah. I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye. You get the best of both worlds. Chill it out, take it slow. Then you rock out this show. And Montana used to be my shits. Okay, you couldn't tell me. I mean, I didn't have any memorabilia or anything like that because my parents wasn't about that life. But like, I was watching Miley Stewart every day after school. Okay, I was watching her every day. It doesn't look like my lashes are on. They're on. I think they're just too big for my eyes.